Hello, dear friends, and a warm welcome to the International Fabtalks. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Thank you for understanding the true meaning of connecting with each other, bonding with each other, and learning from each other. How a common man could inspire your life. How an unsung celebrity or an unsung hero could make the most of their lives and enable you to understand your journey as well. And today, our friends are with us as usual, and a very special celebrity is joining us all the way from Kolkata. And guess who she is? She is Miss Pubali Chaudhuri, a neuropsychiatrist from Kolkata, West Bengal, India, dear friends. Let's welcome our special celebrity today. Join me, friends. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to this beautiful session.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, dear. Dear ma'am, we are really grateful that you accepted the invitation from the International Fabtalks. It's a pleasure and a honor when anybody says yes to International Fabtalks. We are ready to share our journey, to inspire you, to inspire the world, as to how we've overcome all the challenges and how our profession, our life, our experiences could enable you to live a fulfilling life. How do we derive inspiration? Yes, dear ma'am, with your permission, I'd love to go ahead and introduce you in an official way.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Friends, as usual, as I say, it's a privilege and a honor and, of course, a responsibility of ours to... Hello, ma'am?
Yes, yes. I
Hi,
can hear you.
Am I audible now? Yes, dear.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
As I earlier mentioned, the power snap. Yes, yes. So I'll conduct it for a few minutes through the mobile data. And then
okay.
Thank
Sure.
Yes, dear. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'd like to go ahead with the introduction of yours as I was introducing you and the power snapped off. We would love our audience to know this is the problem the common man faces every single day. The ups and downs that we go, but yet we are resilient and we rise back after every fall. So, dear friends, I was introducing our special guest and celebrity for today. And yes, dear friends, let me go ahead and share her profile. She's Dr. Pubali Chaudhuri, who is a consultant neuro-psychiatrist working in Kolkata with 6+ years of experience. She completed her MBBS with honors, that is WBUHS, and MD Psychiatry, SSKM, I guess that is Sikkim maybe, ma'am, if I'm right?
SSKM, IOP SSKM Hospital.
Yes, dear. And DCMH, that is from NIMHANS Bangalore. She is one of the best psychiatrists in her city. And guess which city? That is Kolkata, my dear friends. And friends, apart from having 6+ years of experience, she loves to treat all kinds of patients who suffer from any mental health issue. And she would love to help them to lead the happiest lives, to live the happiest version of themselves, and to live a fulfilling life, because life is only it's a one-time gift. So she would love to see all of you happy and spread joy and happiness and give importance to yourself, your family, and of course, the world at large. She loves to raise awareness on mental health issues through her social media pages. Dr. Pubali Chaudhuri, Neuro-Psychiatry on Facebook. And guess, friends, she also has a beautiful Instagram account. And the name of that beautiful account is The Dopamine Doctor. It is so catchy and so lovely, ma'am. I really love that. So, dear friends, I would love you to share your time and follow ma'am such that you could get all the tips on how you could be, taking care of your mental health and to know the right things which are good for you and for the people around you. Dear ma'am, thanks for being very patient and adjusting to the situation. The situation demands that there is a power cut now and you have to share your time with us for a few moments till we get back the power. And I'm really grateful that you're so humble. You were just waiting for me to join back. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Dear ma'am, let's go on with the first round of the interview. How would you define yourself? Who is the real Pubali?
I say I'm someone who is very passionate in everything I do and also committed to a work. And whenever I start something, I kind of make it a point to finish it. And I'm also definitely not a morning person. So I like to work throughout the day, but I don't like getting up early in the morning. And, I'm someone who can work 7 days a week. That's like, because since I'm very passionate about the field of psychiatry, I really don't need to take a lot of breaks from my job. But then again, when I feel the need to detox and relax, then I do like to go on vacations and travel as well. And I'm also a foodie, so I definitely like to try out different cuisines and food from different places. So I think that's who I am, the person.
Excellent, dear. Thank you for sharing. Even I am not a morning person, and I feel happy. Hey, somebody's with me, and I'm not alone. That's really nice.
Yes, I think there are many people with you.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Dear ma'am, you've been an inspiration to many of the people out there because many of them wouldn't want to enter into this field where they have to take care of people who have mental health issues. They say it's not my cup of tea. ये हमारा काम नहीं है. How did you enter into this field? What inspired you to enter into this beautiful field?
Yes, I think I always had a passion for psychiatry. When I was in my MBBS also, I always wanted to be a psychiatrist. And I think I always realized that there's a lot of scope in this subject in the future. This was at a time when COVID had not come, and there was still a lot of stigma about mental health. So I think, there was this belief system that, psychiatry is just for people who are tied up in chains, or those who stay in mental asylums, or those who have completely lost touch with their reality and their family and work. But then the pandemic happened, and then we got to see gradually that the stigma towards psychiatry was changing. But I think in my head, I always knew that psychiatry was something that is going to impact every single person. Because if your mind is not functioning well, you will not be able to work at home or in your workplace, and you will fail in every aspect of your life. So taking care of your mind is of utmost importance. And this is something I felt that, this is where I could contribute to society, and this is where my actual passion lay in the field of health. So, like I say, that there is no health without mental health. So that's why I'm more focused on the mind than anything else.
Perfect, ma'am. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's all here, my dear friends. If you're fine over here, then everything else is going to be solved easily. Have a strong mind in a strong body. Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing. I really love the way you put all of that in. And thanks for your patience. The powers has been restored, and hopefully shouldn't be cut off again. And yes, if there is a power cut again, we're going to bounce back. Yes, dear.
Okay, sure.
Yes, dear. Dear, we'd like to know about your childhood. What type of a girl were you when you were a little kid? Were you the naughty one, the shy one, talkative one at home?
I would say, I think you described me very well in all of those words. I was the naughty one, I was the talkative one. And I would say during my childhood, I got to stay in different places. Like my home city is Kolkata, but as a child, I've stayed in Mumbai for 2 years, and I've also stayed in the US for 2 years. So, staying in different places has kind of opened my eyes to the suffering of people, the lifestyle of people, and how people from different parts of the world are so different and yet so alike. So I would say that is where my analysis of people, studying people, observing people has come from very early on in childhood. It was like a hobby for me to just observe people, observe adults as a child, that what are they thinking, what are they doing, and kind of trying to make sense of the world of adults as a kid. So I think that's what my childhood has been like.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing. Thank you. But I'd love to know any special incident that you remember. It's very fresh in your memory. Any
I
incident.
think one of the happiest memories of my childhood will be when I saw snow for the first time. So it was my 10th birthday, and we were in the US. And, we had gone, like our family friends had taken us to a mountain top. So we were on the top of a mountain, and we got to see snow for the first time. And, like everybody else in the family had seen snow before. But for me, like that felt like the biggest birthday gift, to be experiencing snow and, catching snowflakes in your hands. So that is a memory that I vividly remember.
Hey, that's wonderful. Wonderful, dear. I have a question. Did you create a snowman over there?
Yes, I did. And actually, that was also taught to me, because since I was seeing snow for the first time, I did not even know how to make a snowman. So, that was all taught to me, that, okay, you make these, big balls and then roll it in the snow, and then you put them together and make the snowman.
How sweet. I could just form a visual picture when you're sharing how did you hold it and how did you play with the snowflakes. I could just visualize that picture of you as a little kid with your family and friends. Yes, dear. That's really nice. Ma'am, we all face a lot of stress, and you, coming from that beautiful field, being a psychiatrist, you might have also faced a lot of ups and downs, either with your clients, with people around you, known and unknown people as well. We face a lot of challenges. How do you balance your challenges, and how do you make others balance their challenges as well? Because as you say, the mind should be strong enough to face all the challenges and have a balance in their life. Would you share some tips, dear?
Yes, to anybody who's struggling, the first thing I say is take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. Because when we sometimes pause and slow down, then a lot of our problems just disappear on their own. So if somebody is having a panic attack, the first step is just to control your breathing. Once your breathing is controlled, then you can move on to your thoughts. Okay, so for anybody who's struggling in life, whatever the situation, my first step would be to just slow down, calm down at this given moment, focus on your breathing, try to give yourself some solace, do something that you like to do, and if possible, list down your problems, make a written list of it. Because what happens is sometimes the problems become very big in our heads, but when we put it on paper, then they seem that maybe they are not problems at all. They are things that we can actually solve. And take it one problem at a time. Suppose if you are listing down 5 problems, I will solve it one problem at a time. Okay, so going like step by step, solving it one problem at a time, taking it one day at a time often helps in these situations where depression, anxiety, or even workplace stress comes into the picture. People are working long hours and they're not able to, control their work-life balance. So in these situations, it is very essential that we just learn to take it one day at a time. Just pause for today and then just focus on today. And then when that's done, go towards tomorrow.
Yes, dear. I love the way, take a deep breath. Yes, and jot down all your problems and take one at a time. Maybe for
Exactly.
1 minute, 1 hour, one day, focus on one problem each. Don't jumble them up. That will really clutter your brain. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, in your beautiful profession, I call it a beautiful profession when it is connected to the mind. You have to be very, very delicate while dealing with the clients. The slightest change in our thought process or the way we connect with them, they will never trust us again. They will back off.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, dear. So what I'd like to ask you, ma'am, have you found yourself in such a situation when you were in your professional zone, something that was quite tough to deal with? But anyway, you have overcome that and you face that situation and you enable that client to understand the depth of, taking care of his mental health.
Right. I think this happened just last week. So I'll just share that incident. I was talking to usually what happens is the patient's family books an appointment for the patient. So we had booked an appointment, the time was scheduled. So the patient did not turn up, and the patient's family was just mentioning to me on message that, it's not possible to bring the patient. The patient has come very near to your chamber, but is not willing to enter the chamber. And he said something like, your patient is not a normal person. You can understand, madam, they are psycho. And I think after that message, I just wrote down one thing to the patient, to the patient's family, that if you consider that patient is psycho, then definitely you need to work on your thought process, because I deal with mental health patients and none of my patients are psycho. All of my patients are normal people. So if you can't bring your patient to the clinic, then it's your fault, not the patient's fault. And no, my patient is not psycho. And then the patient party understood he had made a mistake and he wrote, sorry, ma'am. And within 15 minutes, they turned up, both the patient and the patient party, at my clinic. So that's when I told them that, you are yourself contributing to the stigma that the patient is psycho. Imagine if you say this to the patient, then they will feel bad about themselves and they will not seek help.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. Yes. In fact, all of us should change our thought process and not stigmatize people into different, stereotype people into different segments like that. We should be very open, progressive thoughts should be in our minds, right? Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that beautiful experience, dear. Thanks. Ma'am, any book you would like to suggest to all of us that, yes, if you read this, maybe you will get that zeal to continue your life?
A book that I read when I was very young was The Diary of Anne Frank. I think that book has kind of influenced me in a way as to what mental strength and resilience actually is. Because, Anne was just a 13-year-old girl in the, war situation in Germany, when she was hiding away from the Nazis. And she wrote a diary on a daily basis to deal with her thoughts and to her experiences have now become some of the most elaborate write-ups in the field of World War II. So I think her diary and the way it is written with so much of hope and optimism, even during war, Anne is talking about peace and love, and she's enjoying each and every day. She's talking about learning new things. She's talking about her interactions with her family and her sister. I think these little things do give you that resilience and strength in difficult times. So it's very important for everyone to read that diary. That's a very well written book. And I think, it gives a lot of inspiration to anybody who is struggling and thinking that their life is not worth living.
Yes, dear ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing all of that. Thank you so much. The next question coming up is, how do you want to be remembered in this world? And why should people remember Pubali?
I think I would want to be remembered as someone who left people better than she found them. That's the simple way to put it. And, that's what I try to do with all my patients as well, that every interaction should be a positive interaction. And when you come in through my door versus when you go out from my door, you should feel at least 1% better. Not 100%, but definitely 1% better.
How sweet. What a way to share that, Ria. It's really very nice. To remember me in such a way that I have contributed to your growth, contributed to your thought pattern being changed, and to live a beautiful life. That, yes, she influenced my life in the right way. Wonderful. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, what is that one beautiful quality that you love about yourself? This is Pubali. I love my own self because I feel that this is my inner core quality, my inner strength.
I think passion. Passion is my superpower because I don't take up things that I'm not passionate about. Be it a job, be it an opportunity, be it a patient. If I'm not passionate about something, I will just not take up the work. So I'm a very passion-driven person, and I always believe that if you have passion in your work, then work does not actually seem like vocation. It actually seems like a vacation. So that enables me to work 7 days a week without feeling like I'm working.
Perfect. Perfect. Vocation and vacation, you put that down very well. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. If you have a lot of passion, you never feel that you're working. You just feel
Right.
that you're connected, like with yourself, that positive aura around you. Every day
Exactly.
is a beautiful day. Yes. And earlier too, you mentioned that 7 days a week. And that's how passionate you are, right? Beautiful. And I wish all out there, every professional has this beautiful feeling. Your vocation should be your vacation, and you should love your work and be passionate about it. And if you feel that you have no passion, you can always shift to that.
Absolutely. You should just find something else to do, something that has interest in your life.
Yes, dear. Very nice. Dear ma'am, as you've mentioned that when you were a kid, you went on a holiday to the US. You were vacationing there. Now, as you are busy as a neuropsychiatrist, do you ever get some time to take off and on a vacation?
Yes, I actually, the US was actually not a vacation. I stayed there for 2 years. So I did actually study there in elementary school. I did my 3rd and 4th grade there. So now, yes, obviously, I would say in the middle, like, during MBBS and MD, this study time, I could not get much time for vacation. But now, after my SRship is over, I have had time for vacations. And recently, I have visited a few places as well.
Your favorite holiday destination, dear?
It would be any place near the sea because I feel water has a very calming effect on people. It makes people forget grief, loss, sorrow, and a lot of things. So, seawater is very powerful. So, I love sitting near a beach anywhere in the world.
Oh, nice. That's really nice. And thanks for sharing all of the benefits that one could derive while spending time on a beach, as it could overcome grief and loss, etc., and make you feel good. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, what about movies? Any movie that you think focuses on the human mind? Is there any director who has produced a beautiful movie like that, which you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so the one movie that has been instrumental in shaping my future as a psychiatrist, I would say at a time when I was about to decide which subject to take up after my NEET PG. So we get to choose our specialty. So at that time, I watched a very good movie. It was not so popular in Bollywood, but the movie goes by the name Dear Zindagi. So, I loved the role that Shah Rukh Khan played in that movie. And I think it was very well portrayed by both the actors, Shah Rukh Khan and Alia Bhatt. Both of them portrayed the role of a therapist and a client very well. And I think that is a movie that has inspired me a lot in my own personal journey because I've always wanted to create impact in people's lives. And, psychiatry, mental health, this field does give you that opportunity.
Yes, dear ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. Dear Zindagi. Yes. So, my friends, everybody's life is precious. It's only a one-time gift. Let's live it in a beautiful way for ourselves and our family members, our friends, and of course, everyone across the world. Yes, dear. So, dear Zindagi, hold it to you very close and create that beautiful space first in your mind. Visualize everything, in a very proper way, such that you could benefit and make the people around you enjoy your presence. They shouldn't say that, yes, we don't want you in our aura, we don't want you in our zone. So because we don't agree with your thought process, sometimes that happens. Right. People with different thought processes, they're segregated. It's not an inclusive society. So let's become inclusive and have everyone, not to pinpoint or not to stereotype people or put them into zones saying that they have a certain mental health issue. Let us be more accepting.
Right,
yes,
right.
Yes, dear. Very true, ma'am. Ma'am, how would you take this question? Smart work and hard work. With regard to your profession.
I would say that both are necessary. Smart work is very necessary when somebody is struggling with their workload. So we actually teach our patients how to do their work smartly. Suppose a student is studying for an exam and they have a deadline very near, the exam date is approaching, or somebody has a lot of work stress and they're not able to handle work. So I think in these situations, smart work becomes more important than hard work. So we kind of train our patients in, maybe the 80-20 rule, that you will get 80% of the results from 20% of the efforts and things like that. Things are like, going through the headings and subheadings, remembering those points, and then you can, remember the rest of the paragraphs and make your answer. So these points, definitely smart work does have a role in people that are struggling. And I feel also, if you are in a situation where you're not able to cope with your day-to-day activities, like we see in many psychiatric cases, so smart work is the way forward. Now coming to hard work, because I feel hard work is something we have to put in as therapists or psychiatrists, that in the first few sessions, we have to kind of analyze our patient's history, go through all the factors, the stress factors, the relationship factors, the work environment, the family history of the patient, and that these are the times when actual hard work is necessary. So once that hard work is over, choosing the right medicine, adjusting the doses, that becomes easy. So history taking is the hard work that I feel every mental health professional should do. You can spend as long as you want on the history. I sit with my patients for some I sit with 30 to 45 minutes for history taking. And I feel that if I do it well, then the rest of the sessions become easy. So, the hard work is definitely important in the field of mental health.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much for sharing. My dear friends, it's hard work and smart work. That's really nice. Without that, I think we should have a good balance to understand when hard work should be put in and when smart work. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, apart from the mental health now, the issue, we'll just keep that aside. The part, this mental health, the topic concerned with mental health for a few moments, and speak and focus on sports, the physical part. Have you been ever into the field of sports or any games when you were a child, when you were a college student?
I have not actually played any sports, but I used to actively watch a lot of cricket and football. I think, even watching sports build a lot of character, because it helps you deal with, competition. It helps you deal with winning and losing. So, these are things that and mind also. You cannot lose ever in your mind. Your mind has to be winning. No matter what the situation life is making you go through, your mind should always be winning. So, whenever my patients are struggling with something, I just give them examples of, remember your favorite footballer, remember your favorite cricketer, and just tell me about moments when they, made a match come out from a tough situation. So your life is very similar to a cricket match, that, you may be down 5 wickets, but then you can go on to win the match.
Perfect, ma'am. That's really nice. Thank you for bringing that beautiful example of cricket. And you said 5 wickets and how they have won the match. Yes, that's beautiful. Yes, dear. May I know who is your favorite footballer?
My favorite footballer is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes, dear. And what about the cricketer?
My favorite cricketer is Sachin Tendulkar.
All-time favorite?
Yes, all-time favorite.
Yes, dear. Mine is Dhoni. Yes, dear. Ma'am, what type of a change you would like to see in this world? Which area requires change, and how much would you like to contribute to that change which you would want to see in this world?
I would say the biggest change I would want to see right now is awareness on mental health. Because, I was going through a research article a few days back, and they mentioned that mental illness is going to be the next pandemic. So, this is something, and especially for the Gen Z and younger generations. And most of my patients are in that age group. They're 18, they're 20, they're 25. So these age groups, I think it's very important that we steer them in the right direction. And obviously, as a mental health professional, we do our share to raise mental health awareness in the field of psychiatry through social media platforms, through articles, blogs, and also like these kind of interviews. I think more than anything, I have worked with a lot of organizations to raise awareness on mental health, even during the pandemic, because that was a time when everybody was suffering. So mental health awareness is the need of the hour, and we have to just make everyone realize that whenever you're contemplating suicide, or you're contemplating, killing yourself, or dying, or leaving a job, leaving a course, or just quitting at life in general, you should just think of seeking mental health help professionally before you take those drastic steps. Because like you said, that you get only one life, and if you live it well, then one life is enough. But if you are struggling with these aspects, then 10 lives won't be enough. So for anybody who is thinking that, I'm not happy, and I'm not happy with my situation, or I'm lost, I'm hopeless, I can't do anything about my situation, do consult a psychiatrist, do consult a therapist and a mental health professional, because definitely we can provide some solutions, and you yourself will be trained in how to find solutions so that you can lead a better life.
Perfect, ma'am. Perfect, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. As you were sharing, one thought came to my mind. How far are our schools, our educational institutions in India giving importance to a counselor? Many of them neglect it. It's always about sports and marks and entertainment and fun. But the real pain that a student goes, and the student may not be suffering personally, it's the burden the parents give them. They may be coming from a very toxic family environment, and a lot of childhood trauma is carried on into adulthood. So or maybe are our educational institutions really concentrating on the mental health of children? That's a big question mark in my head. Are we doing our best to make them understand that yes, mental health is really important? Are the teachers have to be sensitized, because they very coolly, and they say that you're a duller, you're a dumb student, you're a good for nothing person. But a child is struggling at home and has to listen to all of the negativity from the teacher, and sometimes being bullied by the classmates as well. So would you like to talk on this for a few minutes here?
Yes, actually, today itself, I saw a patient who was suffering from bullying. So, they are doing well academically sometimes, but bullying does leave a lasting impact on people's lives. And years after the bullying incident, also. Like, suppose if somebody was bullied in class 6, they may be remembering that incident, or still traumatized by that incident when they are 30 or 40 years old. So, that's how long lasting bullying works. And even there are studies that show that bullying may even lead to post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. So I think people need to be sensitized in general as to accept all kinds of people. Like somebody may talk in a certain way, somebody may walk in a certain way, somebody may have their own quirks or their own behavior. So it's okay. It's okay. Basically, these things need to be normalized, and there's no need to just look at that person or think that maybe there's some defect. So I think the more awareness we get in the field of mental health, children nowadays are very smart. So they can analyze these things and they can work on their own self-esteem, their confidence, so that actually they can stand up to bullies and realize that maybe, okay, this is bullying and this is something that I will not let it affect me. So even I get a lot of patients who are children who go through all these situations on a daily basis. And when they tell me these stories and I tell them that, okay, have you been able to trust your parent or teacher with it? They say that, I have not got support. So the worst situation is when a parent or teacher is not supporting the child when these incidents are happening. So the only thing I would say is adults just need to be more aware as to what their children are going through. Children have a mind of their own. They have their own set of thoughts, emotions, feelings. So just be aware of that. That's all.
Yes, dear. It's not only about food, clothes, marks.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, it's something much deeper. The emotional well-being, and the mental health of your child is very important. As it is important for adults, it is also very important for children. Yes, dear ma'am. I'm really glad that you're sharing all of this so well. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Dear ma'am, any dream projects that you have? Would you like to share that with us?
A dream project, it's not exactly a project, but a hope, is to see that India having absolutely no mental health disorders that are undiagnosed. So, this is obviously a very big thing to even dream of, because we know that undiagnosed mental illness is a lot. It's in fact the majority of the mental illness in India is undiagnosed. So, to have every person with mental illness going to a psychiatrist, going to a therapist, or seeking mental health help. So I think that will be my dream.
Yes, dear, that's really beautiful. I would love to see India like that, and the world as well. Everyone.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes, dear. It's the entire world. My dear friends, when we talk about India, we mean we are connecting with the entire world. Everyone should have this. Ma'am, I just got a question in my mind. There are several cases where, when it is the time for them to get married, certain cases, the mental health status of one of the partners is being concealed to the other party. Only after the marriage, the spouse gets to know that this is the case with my husband or wife. So have you ever come across such situation? And at that time, they demand a divorce based saying that the mental health condition is not good. And it could escalate into different forms. So have you ever come across such clients with your experience that you've had for 6+ years? Have you come across them?
Yes, definitely. This is very common, in fact, and these cases are mostly, found out years after the marriage, and then they bring those old prescriptions. Whenever there's a crisis, that is when we come to know about these situations. I think in terms of women, these situations are mostly revealed during pregnancy and childbirth because they go through maybe postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and things like that. And for men also, maybe during job stress or financial crisis, that is when these aspects are revealed. Maybe they had a history with alcohol, maybe they had some substance abuse history that was hidden, or maybe they had some personality issues that were not focused on, or it was treated as normal because somebody in the family also had it. So it was meant to seem like everybody in this family has anger issues, or everybody in this family talks loudly or curses while speaking. So these things do come to us, but in most situations what I've seen is, if the patient and the family members can be guided in the right way, then definitely solutions can be found. Solutions as simple as they can just focus on their own mental health for some time and then get back into the marriage, or things like they can just manage the workload, divide the workload, they can arrange extra help to take care of the child, and then things are actually manageable. The household does run. So, I would not say that mental health is a stigma against marriage, because a lot of my patients do ask that, Madam, my son has schizophrenia, so treatment is going on fine, but can he marry? So I do have examples of patients that have schizophrenia and they have married and they have kept jobs and they're doing well in their jobs, and they are pretty big in their field. So I would say that with any mental illness, you can actually work with that, you can actually live with that, provided you are adaptable and the other person is also adaptable and is given the supportive environment to grow.
Perfect, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining all of that. It really makes sense. Yes, dear friends, if you would love to get connected to our special celebrity, who is a psychiatrist, a neuropsychiatrist from Kolkata, you could just get connected with her. She will enable you to get into that particular phase of life where you would never regret connecting with her, because she's well experienced, well versed, and professionally trained to make you understand and to give you the right guidance in life. Yes, dear. And there are many people who need to come out. They need to come out of the shell and consult a therapist or consult a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but they need to jump out of that box instead of hiding in there and keeping it to themselves. Please come out, seek help. The world is a beautiful place. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, let's come down from the professional space to a different space now. What about the friends in your life? How many of them have been with you right from childhood till date? Would you like to share their names, and would you like to share something about friendship?
I would say I've met a lot of friends, both professionally and personally, from childhood till now. I'm not going into names because then I'll get a lot of calls or messages after the session to kind of say that, you mentioned my name, or you forgot to mention my name, or you mentioned my name at the end. So I would just say that, with the modern age, with social media, it has become very easy for us to connect with friends all over the world. So some of my closest friends are my school time friends, and they are all away in different cities, some of them in different countries. And still, we have kept in touch. And then again, professionally, I've connected with a lot of friends, maybe fellow psychiatrists and psychologists and other mental health professionals who have, told me about opportunities. I have also, we refer patients to each other, because eventually so much of mental health is a collaborative work. So a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and social worker, teachers, they all need to work together to solve a problem. So I think that the spirit of friendship and collaboration is something that is essential personally as well as professionally. So, and I would say also, like, I have very good friends in my family. That is my mother, my brother, my husband are all very good friends of mine. So, I think friendship is something that is important in any relationship.
Yes, dear. We agree with you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing all of that. And you're very smart and sharp, right? Many of them say, like, ma'am, either pass this question which I asked you. What about your friends? They say pass. We wouldn't want to answer this. But you very smartly said that, yes, if I mention names, I might forget a few names. And then that would be embarrassing. So we send a lot of love to all the friends out there who are connected with our special celebrity today. And she is Miss Pubali Chaudhuri. Am I right, dear?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes, that's really nice. And if at all we've missed out on anybody, every corner of the world, if at all you have a connection with our special celebrity, lots of love from the International Fabtalks for bringing that spirit and energy into our special celebrity's heart, mind, and soul, that you have influenced her life in one way or the other. Yes, dear. And ma'am, I should just even add this. A child's mental health or a person's mental health is even being influenced by the friend circle. Maybe the family is not supportive, but the friend circle should be supportive enough and enable your friends to go and meet a counselor, a psychiatrist, a therapist. If at all the family members are maybe traditional mindset, they don't have a progressive mindset, you can do the needful, take your friends and seek get help for them. Would you like to speak something about this and share your thoughts, ma'am?
Yes, just like I told you that most of my patients are youngsters. So most of them do walk in with a friend. Instead of coming with a family member, they walk in with a friend. And the friend usually knows a lot of the psychiatric history of that person. Like, they've been friends for some years now. So the friend also contributes that, okay, this person is having a low phase for the last 6 months, or this person is having anger issues for the last 2 months. So, I've had good experience working with youngsters, and I've seen that their friends are also very aware as to the need for mental health, the need for seeking treatment, and the need for actually starting medicines and continuing medicines and getting better.
Yes, dear. So yes, friendship is really beautiful, and yes, continue with that beautiful bond of creating a beautiful space for everyone. Dear ma'am, what brings a smile to your face?
I would say that seeing the sunlight early in the morning, that's one of the things that I find therapeutic. Also, it's any time when my patients say that they're doing well, I think that definitely brings a smile to my face.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, is there any weakness?
Yes, definitely. Human beings are flawed, so everybody has weaknesses. So the thing that I feel that is a weakness is I'm very emotional. So often I might take wrong decisions based on emotions. So sometimes when I am deciding whether to take something up or not, mostly I like to wait on it. I take my time, let the emotions go away, then I decide with my logic and mind.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing that. It would help many of us, all of us, including me too. Yes, just wait, let the emotion pass off, and then you take the right
And then
and
you
logical.
decide, right?
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, when you find that you yourself are low, there are certain times that we all feel low. No matter which profession, you may be the king or you may be just the opposite. We all have our highs and lows. So when you feel that you are at a very low phase or feeling that low feeling, how do you derive your strength to bounce back?
I think the way I see it is the first thing I do when I'm feeling low is probably I will call my mom. My mom is my biggest support system, and she has seen me right from infancy till now. She has been an important part behind me becoming a mental health professional. And, like the first thing I would do on a bad day is call up my mom, kind of try to explain to her what is it, what are the thoughts in my head that are going through. And just she will 50% time, she will just listen. 50% time she will provide a solution. Immediately after venting, I will just try to get busy into something, maybe watching something that motivates me, watching an inspirational or a motivational video, or playing some of my favorite songs. And then what I would like to do is kind of get back to a routine. So maybe if I have the time, I will go for a walk. If I don't have the time, I will probably get busy with some housework, or just focus on something to get busy. Once I get busy, and probably I'll just see patients. So, I'll get busy for 1 2 hours. After that, I see that it's going to pass off. Then, when I'm in a calm state of mind, that's when I will analyze the situation and think that, okay, what are the solutions I can take? What are the steps that I can do so as to come out of this situation? So, that's also like a 3-step policy that I follow.
Thank you, dear ma'am, for sharing all of that. Thank you so much. Dear ma'am, the next question coming up. What scares you? Is it some insect or is it something else?
I think personally, I'm very scared of failure. And, my biggest fear would be that if I cannot live up to the dreams that I have seen for myself. So, failure is something that scares me. And that's something I'm working on, because not everything that, you will try, you will not be good at it. For example, I'm not good at cooking. So, cooking has been a failure for me for so long. And I would say that it's always about trying new things and seeing like which one works for you, which one doesn't work for you. But I think that's the way to get rid of this fear also. But definitely, I'm someone who's scared of failure.
And cooking, me too, ma'am. I'm really a bad cook. Maybe rotis
I,
are not
I
like
am a terrible cook. I am a terrible cook. It's something I've not been able to learn. No matter how much I've tried different recipes, it's just not there. Like, that aspect is just not there to me.
You had a bit of humor to that and said terrible cook. Like then I could also find myself that I'm also a terrible cook sometimes. I don't like what I cook sometimes, really. Yes. And sometimes my children say that, Mom, don't experiment on us. Don't
So
experiment. So
I think when I cook, I'm the only one who can eat it. Nobody else can eat it. So, that's my definition of terrible cook.
same here, ma'am. And I'm glad I've got someone like, to match with me, and I feel good. Yes, there's somebody there with me. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, do you ever get angry? गुस्सा आता है
I would
आपको
say I don't get angry a lot. I'm not somebody who gets angry, but I do get hurt and affected. So, suppose a client said something or something like I'm expecting a certain medicine to work in a certain way and it's maybe not working. So, in these situations, I do get overwhelmed, I do get hurt, but I just don't get angry that much.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, is there a suggestion? I'll not call it an advice. I'll not call it an advice, a suggestion. Would you like to suggest the youngsters out there who would like to be the next Pubali, who would like to, impact people's lives by connecting with them and improving their thought process, the pattern of the way they think? Any message for the youngsters who would like to enter into this field where they would like to remove the stigma from, this mental health issue that is not accepted that well in our society?
I think the first thing I would say is mental health, this field requires a lot of passion, efforts, dedication, and perseverance. So, and also the ability to constantly evolve as a person. So, if you're coming into the field of mental health, do ensure that you have these qualities and at least you're willing to work on yourself. I think that's the most important factor. If somebody is able to and willing to work on themselves and improve themselves, then they'll do well in any field that they take up. So my advice is just focus on yourself. Before you try to change the world, just focus on trying to changing yourself. Once you change yourself for the better, then changing the world becomes easy. One step at a time, you can do that.
Super. And hats off to you for this brilliant message that you're giving all of us. Work on yourselves, my friends, and then you can change the world. Don't go on changing the world. It will make no sense. First, it is here within and then out. Perfect, ma'am. Very well explained. Dear ma'am, a personal question. If it wasn't this field, then what?
I think I always had this urge to teach. So I would have probably become a teacher. And, I would have loved to be an art teacher because I'm someone who loves to draw, painting, photography. These have all been hobbies in the past and some things that I still continue. So basically, I would have wanted to become a teacher for children, like an arts teacher or a teacher that gets to shape and mold young minds.
Perfect. That's really nice. And teaching is a noble profession. Yes, dear friends, and sharing all the love to all the professionals across the world. And we thank you for doing your best to improve and make this world a beautiful place and creating that space for all human beings. It's now a global village, as they say. And humanity is the greatest religion and love is the universal language. Yes, dear ma'am. Dear ma'am, what about your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue. I think you know that when I told you that, I like to visit the sea. So my favorite color is blue.
Great. That's really nice. It has a calming effect.
Exactly.
As a student.
Exactly.
Yes, dear. It has a calming effect, my dear friends. Yes. Dear ma'am, as a student, your favorite subject and why you love that favorite subject? What was the reason?
I think growing up, my favorite subjects were two subjects actually. One was English literature because I loved reading, the works of other people, kind of trying to understand their thought process and, see beauty in the form of language. So that was something that always interested me. And also among the science subjects, I would say biology was my favorite subject, which was one of the reasons I went on to become a doctor. Because, I always liked how the human body functioned, how, at a cellular level, at a tissue level, then at a macro level, like, there were so many levels to it. So I always found biology fascinating and also English literature.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. Thank you so much. Would you like to share a proverb or a quotation with us that you have been following all these years, which inspires you a lot? Your favorite one?
So I'll just tell a quote by Mark Twain that has impacted my life a lot. And that is 20 years from now, you will remember the things you didn't do rather than the things that you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, explore, dream, discover.
Ma'am, I have a request. I would love that you repeat this once again for all of us and me also, please, please.
Sure, sure. 20 years from now, you will remember the things you didn't do rather than the things you did do. So throw off the bold lines, sail away from the safe harbor, explore, dream, discover.
Yes, dear friends, take the risk and don't live in regret, Take the risk and go
Exactly.
forward and, fulfill your dreams. At least keep trying. In
Keep
case if
trying,
you never,
right?
yeah, keep trying. Take the risk. Risk is better than regret.
Right, right.
Very beautifully quoted, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's why I said immediately, ma'am, could you just repeat that once again for us? Because I wanted to personally hear it and I wanted it to seep into my mind. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear ma'am, your proudest accomplishment till date. You have accomplished different things, different milestones you might have accomplished. Among all of it, which was that wow moment? Wow, I feel great.
I think I've always wanted to be a psychiatrist, and I gave my MD Psychiatry exam during the pandemic. So our exams were, we had given three papers, and during the fourth paper, the exam stopped. So at that time, I felt that what is going to happen, when will the pandemic end, and then finally we had the exam after a few months. So when I finally completed the exam and when I got my degree, MD Psychiatry, it would have come under normal circumstances. It would have come a few months earlier. But when I got that final, degree certificate in my hands, I think that has been one of the proudest moments in my life. Mostly because this is something I've always wanted to do, and when you see yourself in that dream job, that is a very proud moment for anyone. And for me, getting that degree was that point when I realized that this is it, this is the point where my dream life begins.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing. Thank you. Dear ma'am, what about pets? Do you think pets are really useful to us? Do they have healing power? According to me, yes, but I would love to know your thoughts. And do you have a pet at home? I put off all the questions in one go. Yes.
Since like during my childhood, I used to move a lot. Like I told you, we were staying in one place for 2 years and then moving to another place. And then eventually, what happened was during my childhood, I could not keep a pet. So I'm not someone who likes to keep pets at home as such. Rather, I'm someone who likes to enjoy animals kept in their natural habitat. So I am more of like a nature person. Like if I do like birds, but I don't like birds in a cage. So I wouldn't, I don't like the concepts of keeping birds or these kind of fish in aquarium. Rather, I would want fish to see fish in the ocean and birds up in trees. That's my mindset. Let them go free.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. In case if you had a pet, what would that be?
I think birds. I've always liked birds, but I don't like the concept of caging them.
Caging. Yes, dear. That's very true. In fact, we've seen people who haven't caged the birds. They just are attracted, birds are attracted to them and they just come and eat from their palm and fly back
Yes,
to their
yes, yes.
natural
Yeah,
habitat.
yeah, yeah. We do have, bird feeders. I remember distinctly now that you mention it. We had bird feeders when we were growing up at home in the balcony. So, yeah, that's something that I like.
Yes, dear. Yes, ma'am. So that's really beautiful, my dear friends, to bond with nature and not to bound the living beings around us, the living creatures around us. Let them live in peace and let us also live in peace in our space. Dear ma'am, how many languages are you conversant in? Your English is superb. I'm really in awe that you have that beautiful flow with your English language. Apart from English, which are the other languages you're very conversant in?
My mother tongue is Bengali, so I know Bengali since my childhood, and also English and Hindi. These are the three languages I know, and I hope to learn more languages in the years to come.
Yes, dear. That's very positive. But we have a request now. Would you oblige to sing a song for us, your favorite song in any one of these languages? Would you oblige?
I think I'll sing a few lines from one of the most motivational songs that I know, and it's something that has influenced me during my childhood. So it's The Climb by Miley Cyrus. So here it goes. There's always gonna be an uphill mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb.
How sweet of you. That's really so nice. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. It was like, taking us to a different level. You were so pure and so genuine when you were singing that song. You gave your all to that song. Thank you so much. Would you like to try one in Hindi and Bengal? I mean, in your
I
mother
don't
tongue?
currently remember lyrics to any Bengali or Hindi songs.
Eight line?
Not able to remember.
Okay, dear. Anyways, I'd love to thank you for singing this song in English. That was really very nice. Thank you so much. I usually do this with all the celebrities. I just request them to open up and sing and share and feel free. And so many of them have obliged, and thank you for obliging, dear ma'am. Thank you so much. My dear friends, this is a platform where you could open up and share your thoughts and views, just like our celebrity. Her profession could really be a very beneficial one for you, for your family member or friend, where you could connect and share your thoughts and views, and of course, save somebody's life. Life is really very valuable, and life is a gift. Dear ma'am, we come back now. Who do you think you really are? A great listener or a great speaker?
I would say I'm a great listener because that's also something my job involves. So, listening is probably the first step towards speaking. So, being a great listener is something I will always strive to do.
Perfect, perfect. That's really nice. Dear ma'am, if the Almighty or the universe gifted you a superpower and you were given the choice to select the superpower, what superpower would you select?
I would say the power to read people's minds.
Beautiful. You're already doing that, my dear. You're already doing that. You're
No,
into
I
that
wish we
skill.
had that, that extra access.
Yes, very true. Very true. To understand the human mind and to read the human mind and behave accordingly. Like if at all somebody is not in a good mood, you already know that, and then you back off. You wait till the person overcomes that frame of mind and becomes normal.
You're right.
We
Right.
know that. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, you being a mental health professional, a therapist, a neuropsychiatrist, I would like you to share some thoughts on red flags. We've seen many of the people, they don't know that this is a red flag in their life. They think that this is our life till death, and they are unable to come out from the toxic situation. Many of them, irrespective of gender, they are stuck and attached to the red flags, which is right in front of their eyes. So I would like you to share your thoughts on that, to enlighten them that this red flag is not good for you. It's time to move out and save yourself.
I would say any situation or person that makes you feel inferior and small in any way is a red flag. Any situation or person that makes you feel that you are not enough, you're not worthy, or you find with that person or situation, you're having to change yourself in some way, in a negative way. Like you have to, you hide yourself, you have to talk less, or you have to, shut down your thoughts, not voice them. So these situations where you feel restricted, these are all red flags. And also toxicity is not always very overt. Sometimes it can be hidden and masked. So just if you feel that your gut feeling is suggesting that a situation or a person is not right for you, then just follow that gut feeling.
Thank you, ma'am. You put it very clearly. Lots of clarity in what you've shared. In very simple terms, you made everyone understand. So, dear friends, take that message very seriously. If you're not valued, if you're not given that importance as a human being, and if you're not treated in a dignified manner, that is a big red flag. Respect yourself and try to find help and move out. Don't suffer in silence. Suffering in silence also is, dangerous. And you encourage the abuser to go on, and that affects your mental health. It affects the mental health of your children, your family members. Speak up against abuse. Don't suffer in silence. Thank you for the clarity, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear ma'am, what type of changes do you visualize in the next 50 years?
50 years is a long time. I think 50 years ago, we did not know that we would be talking like this in different cities. 50
Very
years
true.
ago, we did not know that something like the pandemic would be coming, or we would have something called social media, which will connect people from all over the world. So some of the positive changes I would like to see in the next 50 years is obviously, more focus towards renewable energy sources so that pollution levels go down. I would hope the awareness on mental health levels will go up. And I will hope that healthcare delivery systems get faster. Nowadays, also, we are seeing that, there are concepts of drones being used for emergency delivery of medicines. So I would want something like that to become mainstream. And also like, early diagnosis, early access, and definitely a cure for cancer. So these are the things that I'm, the hopes that I'm putting out there.
Yes, dear. I like this. The early diagnosis. Take precautions. Once you know that you are going to be prone to get that disease or something, you're going to be affected. You just get a hint of it before you take a lot of care and steps to avoid it. That's really very nice. Thank you, ma'am. I love all your progressive thoughts. And yes, we would love to have a beautiful world like that, very progressive. And yes, friends, we go ahead with the next question.
Go ahead.
Yes, dear ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is, what if you were given a time machine and at the click of a button, you would be taken into the past and there you had to go and relive somebody's life? Whose life you would love to relive?
This is something that I feel, there's nobody from the past or the future whose life I would like to relive. Like you said, one life is enough if lived well. So, this is one chance I got at life and I want to make the most of it.
How sweet. Very positive. A very positive mindset. That's really nice. Progressive, positive, and of course, filled with lots of zeal to help your own self and as well as others, to love your life. Respect this life, which is a gift from God. And let's go ahead now with the next question. Ma'am, we've seen many of the youngsters, even me, you could take, it could be anybody, unable to take criticism, I put it in the right way, constructive criticism, not only criticism, constructive criticism. Many a times we feel hurt, being extra sensitive. So how one should be able to accept constructive criticism in the right way?
Like I said, when people are emotional, if you're hearing something said by somebody else, even if it is a very positive thing, it might seem negative to us. So the way I see it is just keep the thought in your head and think about it at a later time when you're calm. Rather than thinking about it at that moment and reacting to it, just take it as a piece of information, forget about it, think back later on.
Yes, dear. Thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. Thank you. My dear friends, if it is constructive criticism, give it a thought. It could benefit you in many ways. Don't back off and don't feel bad. And of course, if it's coming from the right kind of people, definitely you have to take it, not from the wrong kind of people. Yes, dear ma'am. And madam, as ma'am, our celebrities suggested, give it a thought and then get back to it. You need not immediately put your energies into it. You have to wait, pause, think, and get back. Dear ma'am, do you think forgiveness plays an important role in improving our mental health?
Yes, I think a lot of the reason why people hold on to past trauma is because they have not been able to forgive. So, forgiveness is definitely a very important skill for overcoming any kind of mental illness because, yes, definitely something bad has happened to you. You have been a victim in a situation, but holding on to that victim mentality is only going to do worse in the long run. So, it's very important that you learn to kind of detach from your past and just decide that from today onwards, I am starting a present and a future for myself. And you're forgiving for yourself and not for anybody else. So I think forgiveness is something that has to be taught as an act of self-care more than anything else.
Yes, dear. Forgiveness is an act of self-care. When you do that, you care for yourself and your mental well-being. So just forgive, let go, and continue your journey. Beautiful, ma'am. I love your concept, the way you put out things in a very crisp way and with lots of clarity. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, is there anything that I didn't touch upon? I didn't connect with you? Would you like to share that? Is there something that I
you covered all aspects, and I think we have, given people an introduction as to what a mental health consultation looks like, what are the issues we deal with, and what are the ways in which mental health problems can be solved. So, you've covered it all actually.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, we've come to an end to the main round of the interview. We have a small segment called as the rapid fire round, which I will be taking another 5 to 10 minutes of yours.
Okay, sure.
Yes, dear. This segment, my dear friends, as you know, it's a brief one. Join me, friends, to get to know about the likes and dislikes of our celebrity today. She's Dr. Pubali Chaudhuri from Kolkata, West Bengal, India. Dear ma'am, we'd like to know about your likes and dislikes, to get to know more about you. This section will be like this. The questions will be very small, and the answers will be either in 1 word, 2 words, maximum 1 sentence, a brief one, a brief session. Yes, dear. Among the 7 days, your favorite day?
I would say Tuesday.
Favorite number?
Favorite number 1.
Is it texting or calling?
Texting.
May I know why?
I feel, obviously the most important factor in texting versus calling is respecting people's time. So if people might be busy in doing something else, so, calling kind of disturbs them. So I believe in whatever you have to convey, just drop a text and they can get back to you when they are free.
Yes, dear. Because I had this in my mind always. There's always a clash in my mind. Should I text or should I call? Some of them prefer a call, and certain section of the people, they prefer a text. As you mentioned, they may be disturbed, don't know in what situation they are, in a meeting or an important emergency, whatever. So a call may be not okay, right? So I've got my answer now, and that's clear in my head now. So I'll text first and then call, maybe, such that there is no clash in my head. Thank you so much for that clarity, dear. Dear ma'am, are you a tea or a coffee person?
I am a coffee person.
Yeah. Anytime?
No, morning coffee only.
Yes. Ma'am, which is that insect that you hate?
I would say a mosquito, because nowadays we get so many diseases due to mosquito: dengue, chikungunya, malaria. So dengue was very rampant in Kolkata a few months back. So mosquitoes is something I am definitely scared of and hate.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing. Ma'am, a perfect day or a beautiful day in just 1 word?
Bliss.
Wow, I waited for this answer. I tell you seriously, I've been interviewing more than 250 people till date, and I wanted someone to say just in 1 word. And I was waiting for this word bliss. And yes, I've got it from you. Either peace or bliss, either of these I was waiting for. So either some of them answered in a whole sentence, but here I wanted them to just give it to me in 1 word. And so that word bliss, everything is fine, all went well that day, and that day is fulfilled with bliss. It's bliss, peace or bliss. That's nice at last. Yes. Dear ma'am, when you help others, you go out of the way to help others.
Yes, definitely.
Do you ever expect anything from them? It could be a smile, it could be a hug, or it can be just a look of satisfaction on their face.
I think the look of happiness on people's faces is the biggest gift.
Yes, dear. You find happiness in a village, city, or a town?
In a city.
Very true. Of course. The city has lots of amenities, and yes. And in fact, ma'am, there are more people who have mental health issues found in the cities rather than in the villages. There they are very strong and resilient. Here, am I right or wrong? I don't know, but I have found that to be.
I have actually worked in mostly the urban setup. So I've seen the mental health issues here are much more.
Yes. Because people are expecting too much from themselves at a certain point of time, right? Yes. Dear ma'am, would you love to travel by roadways, waterways, railways, or airways?
Airways.
Yes, dear. It saves a lot of time, right? Yes.
Yes.
Your favorite season? Yes, ma'am.
My favorite season is autumn.
Now, if on a table I placed cakes, chocolates, and ice creams, what would you pick up first?
I would pick up all 3 eventually, but first I would pick up chocolate.
How sweet. Okay, dear, done. That's really nice. Are you an early bird or a night owl? I guess you said something right earlier. Yes, night owl. Ma'am, do you think life is all about money, happiness, or both?
I think life is about balance, about money, happiness, your relationships, your relationship with yourself, all of these things, your family. So it's a lot of factors. It's about that balance.
Ma'am, I love this concept. The relationship with yourself is more important. right?
Yes,
How
yes,
you look at
definitely.
yourself, what relationship you have with this person is the biggest gift you can give to yourself. Wonderful, ma'am. It's an enriching day to get to know all of this. You've opened up so much and shared that, yes, you've made me also start thinking at a deeper level. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, the name of your favorite teacher or sir?
I'm not able to remember a lot of names actually, but I will say that, like I said, my mom did teach me from my nursery class to my class 12. So, she is in fact my favorite teacher.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes, your mom is your greatest teacher. Dear ma'am, is it salty, sweet, spicy, or sour food?
Sweet, sweet.
Anytime?
Yes, a Bengali girl can have sweets anytime.
Many of them have told this to me. Yes, dear. Yes, me too, the same. I love to eat sweets. You give it to me at 2 o'clock in the night also, I'll happily eat. Early in the morning also, I'll be happy to eat it.
Yes, yes. Dessert
And then I
anytime.
regret, yes, dear. And I regret after that, why did I eat? Because again, I'll go and check on my weight and say, I've increased like. And I try to take some measures to like again, but then, these are the cheat days. Yes,
Yeah,
dear
yeah.
ma'am. Dear ma'am, I'd like to ask you, like, how would you look at people who appear to be ambivert but are introvert most of the time, but then they sometimes portray two different personalities, like sometimes they are introvert, sometimes extrovert, like in ambivert.
I,
So why
I would let them open up to me and then, take time and figure out who they really are.
Yes, if I would ask you this question, who you are, which category do you fall in?
I would say I'm an introvert.
How would you define an introvert? Like,
An introvert is someone who needs a lot of time for themselves to reconnect with themselves. When they go out into the external world, they get happiness, but they get more happiness when they connect with their own selves.
how beautifully explained. Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. That's really nice. And I find myself somewhere there again. Yes. Dear ma'am, when you are all alone, where do you connect your thoughts to? Or where do your thoughts take you? I should put it in the right way. The past, present, or future?
I would say the future.
You love socializing or me time?
Me time.
Yes, dear. Experiential learning or theoretical learning?
Experiential learning.
More of a thinker, a doer, or both?
More of a thinker.
An apple or a samosa?
The doctor in me wants to say an apple.
How sweet of you. So sweet of you. That's really nice. So nice. Ma'am, is it home cooked food or food ordered from out?
Home cooked food.
Beach person? I guess I have this answer.
Yes,
Beach
yes.
person or
Beach
forest
person.
person?
Beach person.
I guess that because you shared earlier that it is very therapeutic to walk. Audible? Ma'am, am I audible, dear?
Yeah. And the last question did not come. After beach
Yes,
person, the next question did not come.
I'll repeat myself. Is it song or dance?
So,
Is it walking, two-wheeler, or a four-wheeler?
walking.
On a table, there's a lovely book and a great music system. What would you pick first?
I would say a book.
You love to give gifts or receive gifts?
I would say both. Both.
Very true. Ma'am, we would love you to share a gift with us today. We'd love you to share 3 magical words with us, apart from please, sorry, and thank you, which has been handed down from generations, that if you use these 3 words, your life becomes beautiful. That is please, sorry, and thank you. We keep it aside and request our celebrities to share extra 3 additional words to enrich in our lives.
Okay. So the first word will be bliss, the one you liked. Next one will be hope, because that's what I hope to provide. And the third one will be happiness, because that is ultimately all we want in life.
Perfect. Bliss, hope, and happiness are the three magical words where we have to work on ourselves first and then share it with the world. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, so much for your time. Thank you for all the experience and the knowledge and wisdom that you've shared here. Much appreciated. Looking forward to many more interactions with you on the International Fab Talks.
Sure, I had a great time. Thank you for having me. And I hope at least, somebody can benefit from this conversation in whatever way. So that will make this conversation successful in this way, in this format.
Yes, dear. I would love people to reach you, ma'am. And if yes, there are people who would like to reach you, how do they reach you, ma'am?
You can just drop me a message on @thedopamine doctor on Instagram, or you can follow my Facebook page, Dr. Pubali Chaudhuri, Neuro-Psychiatrist.
Yes, dear. So yes, friends, with this, we'd like to end the session for today. But yes, we'll meet you soon. And we promise to bring back our special celebrity. She is Dr. Pubali Chaudhuri, neuropsychiatrist from Kolkata, India. West Bengal, India. That's right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.
Sure. Thank you.